This is the installation and hookup of a shallow well pump. This one is an Everbuilt, 1/2 horsepower. The first thing that I would do is get in here, and you need to change the voltage selector switch. From the factory, it comes preset to 230 volts, and you just want the 120 setting. So let's take this apart. And it's real easy to switch it over. You can see it says 230 just there. And now it's set at 115. And this just kind of sits in there. It's not mounted to anything, so be sure that it's put back in there and no wires are touching. But you be sure that that's set at 115. Next, we're going to install a plug wire. And you want to be sure that you hook it up to ground. Green is ground, the world around. Black is hot, white is not. Now there are wires here going into the pump. The black one is the hot wire. The white one is the negative wire. This is an actuator switch, and it's controlled by this pressure that comes through this hose. And when the pressure is low, the contacts meet. Power is then applied to the motor. The impeller spins. The system begins pumping water. As soon as you shut off the water and pressure comes back up in the tank, these contacts will open. So no power is getting to the pump. And that's how that works. Let's go ahead and hook it up. First thing we want to do is put these wires through this rubber grommet. Now, right now, there's no way to put it through there. You have to cut the end of it off so that the wire can actually go into the rubber grommet. Here I'm using a box cutter. You may want to use a pair of dikes or side cutters to snip off the end of the grommet. And you don't need to cut all the way through, just open it up so that there's a slit in it. Now pull the plug wires through the grommet for hookup to the pressure contact terminal block. This 6 foot of plug wire is not supplied with the Everbuilt well pump. I just used an old drop cord, cut 6 feet, and put terminal lugs on each one of the wires. Alright, and just remember where, I'm going to start with the ground wire. And you probably noticed I've put terminal lugs on the ends of the wires. It just goes together better. I like that, and then I can disconnect it if I ever need to replace the pump. And again, I checked. This is the white wire going into the motor. This is the relay contacts for the white wire, or the return wire. And the white wire I have coming from our plug wire is connected to the terminal for those contacts. Let's go to the black wire. So that's all good and tight. And that's all completed. That's really all you need to do. I'm going to put a little bit of tape right here, just so this can't pull out quite so easily. So just a couple of safety precautions to keep it from pulling out. For whatever reason, it can't do that now. I've got the tape around the grommet, and then a tie wrap around the tape and the grommet, pulling it tight so that cannot come out of there. And it helps keep a little bit of the water out. Alright, so we've now hardwired the plug wire into the pressure switch area there. Let's go ahead and plumb the pump to the well. First thing you want to do to plumb this pump to the well is you take out that little plug. This is the intake, and I've got a 1-inch insert here threaded, and I've put some pipe tape on there. You may not need to, but it's always a good, precautionary measure. And you do not want to cross thread anything. Don't want to cross thread these threads because it'll just strip out and you're going to have a leak. You need it to be good and watertight. Be sure to use vice grips or a pipe wrench to tighten down all fittings. Now we're going to cut a piece of 1 inch just to put out here to get an angle to our well pipe. Remember, this is a pressure water system. Be sure to glue all of your fittings, as well as all of the pipes that you are connecting into those fittings. Shortcutting any of these methods are sure to bring you problems with your pipes in the future. So be sure to use your primer and cement glue. Stick it all the way in there and give it about a half a turn twist. And just hold it there. At least 10 seconds. I like to do 30. Now we've got a good angle to where our pump 90 is going to be. Make a vertical line on the intake pump pipe where the well pipe meets the intake pipe. Be sure to steady or have positive control of the pipe while you're cutting it, otherwise it might break off at the coupling. That's roughly the center. Of the 4-inch pipe. And I haven't put any screws in here into the tank area to hold it down in place, because I'm going to be moving it somewhat here, or may need to move it around to get this positioned just so that this is centered up pretty much right there at the well, and a nice 90-degree turn. Use a marker and draw a line on the pipe coming from the well and is meeting the bottom side of the intake pump pipe. It's probably got water in it. So we'll let that drain out. And as long as nothing touches the PVC, you can put both glues on. You don't have to rush, but it needs to be on the insides of the 90 as well as the pipes, outsides of these pipes, to get a good connection. I'm going to put it on this one first, get it going directly towards the pump, the framework for the pump. And you have, you know, a couple of seconds to move it around, but you have to be pretty quick. Get it done. Looks like it lines up pretty good. So now we have to be able to push that pump. I've got the pipe all the way up against the far side. I push that in all the way, and I'm going to hold that for about 10 seconds or so. 30 is better. And you know you've got a nice seal for the water coming up out of the well into the pump. And you might notice I had a little safety on the well pipe. I didn't want it to travel any further down. It's right real close to the bottom of the water pocket or the water table, but you never know. You might have just over time just slipped down on through there, and away goes your pipe, and you got to drill another well. Now let's work on the discharge ports. You can see this is brass, which is great. I'm not sure if this is brass, but if you know, this is meant for fresh water. Brass is great. Plastics are great. Galvanized, well, that's probably the standard, but it does rust. So I'm using plastic pieces, and I put pipe thread on here. It's 1-inch insert to 1-inch pipe, and you don't want to cross thread this. So take your time, just make sure that that's in there properly. Now, but this is pressure water, so we're going to get this to where we can't screw it in anymore. And then just give it an extra oomph. Channel locks would be great. I don't have channel locks today. But just give that till it gets snug again. Don't want to over tighten it, but till it gets snug again. So that's about a half a turn right now. So I got it about 2/3 of a turn, and it really didn't want to go anymore. Probably could have if I manhandled it. So this is about a 3 or 4-inch piece of pipe I'm going to put in here. Got to prime it and cement it, both the fitting and the pipe. Very, very important. This is the pressure side of the pump. I know I said it already, but 50 psi, that's a lot of pressure. You don't want any leaks. So you make sure that's pushed down in there good and tight. Next, we're going to put on a T, and this is all PVC, and I'm going to go ahead and thread this one in, this side in. Remember, it's got to be good and tight, at least another half turn beyond, at least. Try to get a half turn in there beyond hand tight. Ah, that looks good. Hand tight. Try to get at least a half a turn more. No, I was able to get a whole turn, almost. Alright, let's prime it up. I've just got my discharge piece for the spigot. Push it down there good and tight. Make sure you hold it down. All we need to do is put on the clean out cap. I've got Teflon tape on that as well. And this is where we're going to prime the pump. We're going to put water right in here. I'm going to go ahead and put the spigot on. And we'll be able to easily adjust this pipe. You know, you can see I've moved the whole pump. And that's one reason why you don't secure it down yet, because you might have to do something like this. And I'm just going to move it just a little bit, tighten it up a little bit more. Alright, that's looking pretty good. And I'm going to glue this fitting right here. You have to reduce it down to 3/4 inch. So this is 1 inch pipe, reduce it down to 3/4 inch inside thread for the spigot. So you just twist it on, hold it there. Just let it set up for a bit. Once again, this is a pressure side. You have to be absolutely perfect on this in order for this pump to work properly. If you're losing pressure, the pump will just cycle, turn on and off, and you'll be spitting water everywhere. Go ahead and set this in there and make sure it doesn't get cross-threaded. Should go in there nice and easy. There we go. I'm going to tighten that down. One more piece to put in here. I didn't need to move my pump. I could have just taken this out. I forgot I hadn't glued that up yet. So this will be perfect. So that's going to be nice. I've got places I can secure this pipe so that it can't move once the spigot is turned on with a hose, and you know how holes will pull on that. Trying to get every inch out of your hose. Alright, let's tighten up this spigot and let's see if we can't get this thing fired up. So before you turn the pump on, we need to prime it. We need to fill the water. Right now the water's up to here coming out of the pump. We need to fill this area and just down into a portion of the diaphragm. I think it's about a gallon that will be needed. I've got 8 cups of water here. I can always get more. Let's see what goes on. I didn't have a 1 gallon container, so I just used cups. And it actually took about a half a gallon here. Be sure to prime your pump. After all that work that's just been completed, you don't want to burn out the impeller and have to redo everything and replace the pump. There we go. That's all the way up. Alright, that is totally full. And it was just about 8 cups. Alright, I think we're ready to fire it up. About another half a turn. That way that thing should be watertight, good for 50 pounds without a problem. I'm going to go turn on power inside of the Big Red solar pavilion here. It's getting to be dusk. So this will be the first test as well, using my inverter power to run that pump. Alright, I'm going to attempt to sync up a couple of cameras here to show you the operation of the pump, as well as some electrical information. We're going to see what the power level is here on our 2000 watt inverter. So let's go ahead and fire up that pump. And let's just go see if we can get some power to that pump. Just have to purge it a bit, and we have water on the property for whatever reason. Still got a little bit of air in the line here inside of the diaphragm area of the tank. That'll take a little while to get all the bubbles out. It was brand new. I'm Chris with ATL Solar Trek, reminding you it's easy once you know how.